Welcome to this exclusive interview on Qarra. We're with His Excellency the President of the Republic of Chad, Mr. Idriss Deby. Mr. President, thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming as we celebrate our National Day in Chad.
Mr. President, in your speech for the 22nd celebrations of what's known as the Freedom and Democracy Days, you made frequent reference to the words peace and security, at a time when neighboring countries are experiencing tensions and instability. Are you worried that instability gains Chad?
It's because our people suffered a lot from chaos and instability. There was no peace in Chad or stability since 1963, up until 2009. That's when Chad had a period of respite. It's only then that we were able to launch our National Development Programme. Therefore, we don't want to return to the chaos of the past, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity to remind my people of the need to maintain peace, stability and national unity if we want to develop our country.
This stability in Chad, is it not threatened by the instability in neighboring countries, particularly in light of the news of ongoing troubles around the capital, Bangui?
Bangui is a recent issue. The situation in neighboring countries has been of a complex nature. As you know, the chaos in Darfur hasn't come to an end yet. The situation in Libya has not yet settled. The Boko Haram group in Nigeria continues to spread evil and is committing massacres of innocent civilians.
Faire des massacres des innocents, ça vient de s'ajouter maintenant à la situation en République centrafricaine.
What's happening now in the Central African Republic adds to all of this. We aren't ready to live in a new state of chaos, and that's why, as current chairman of the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, I called for an emergency summit on Friday the 21st of December to search for a definitive political solution to the situation in the Central African Republic. Our Central African troops, known as Mikopax, have been stationed there for 10 years. Their task is to secure the capital Bangui, but they're unable to cope with all sorts of criminals within the country, bandits, poachers, and on top of this, insurgents, which puts at risk the security of citizens.
The upheavals that you've just mentioned, and which are mainly taking place in trans-border regions, do you consider them as short-term disruptions, or do they ultimately represent some new territories which escape your control? Can they affect the map of Africa that's been inherited from colonial powers some 100 years ago?
I'm not sure that these changes would threaten recognized borders in the region. That would be a very serious matter. One of the first decisions of the founding fathers of the Organization of African Unity was the inviolability of borders inherited from colonialism. This was a wise and irreversible decision, whatever the circumstances. Nevertheless, the African continent is going through significant changes, and the democratic aspirations of people in Africa must be engaged with new tools. This is a new situation for everyone. It's not a secret that the situation in the Central African region was chaotic. There were areas of tension in our region, which intensified after the flow of massive amounts of arms from warehouses of the former regime in Libya.
In 2012, you expressed concerns about the security implications of the NATO war against the Gaddafi regime. You said then, history will prove me right regarding Libya. A few years earlier, you expressed doubts about the partition of Sudan, a position you have adjusted sometime later.
Yes, I still stick to what I said at the time. To this day, I think that what happened in those two countries is a bad sign. I don't think it's wise to start reconsidering everything around us. What resulted from the division of Sudan into two parts? Chaos and war. And this scenario is liable to be reproduced elsewhere in Africa, and it will create further disorder and chaos.
So what do you respond to those people who believe that what happened in Libya and Sudan in 2011